Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 59 of Wartwood Gazette, the Amphibia podcast. This week we're covering Amphibia Season 2, Episode 8, Lost in Newtopia and Sprig Gets Schooled. I'm your host, Thembaticon, and join me today we have Impact.
Yo, what's good, everybody?
And Nick.
What's up, y'all?
Alright, thanks, guys. So, I don't think there's any new, generally news this week now, it's going to be like a crew member will release some material that they worked on for the show, and then that's generally about it. I think it's the same thing this week. I think TJ Hill released the soundtracks for Three Armies and Beginning of the End, which is cool, and hopefully we'll get more original music from him.
Yeah, honestly, my fingers are crossed for a full release for season 2 because I know he's dropped some stuff from that, but I mean it would just be incredible if he managed. Even on Brad Breek on his own YouTube channel, he has he has everything pretty much. Everything from Gravity Falls and Owl House are just on them. I'm hoping we can get something like that from TJ.
Yeah, I hope we get the full TC OST, True Colors OST. Ooh. I don't know if we got. I think we got Anne's theme, and then that's it, right?
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, so just something from True Colors, or just the entire thing. I feel like it should be coming. Not should be expected, but if TJ Hill is releasing all of the big finale stuff, I think it's it'd be nice to bring in True Colors, especially with Marcy's theme. I don't think we've ever gotten a full
version of that theme.
Yeah,
that rendition of that theme. I think they kind of used something similar sounding in the 3B teaser when it was mostly Core and the King scenes.
Yeah.
So
that would be nice to see.
So we'll probably get into. Yeah, I think we can start with the episode discussions, starting off with Lost in Newtopia. This was written by Geneva Hudick. Maybe that's Geneva Mai? I'll double check the credits later, but storyboards by Anna O'Brien and Eddie West, and directed by Jen Strickland. So, just general thoughts on this episode, I guess. I'll go first. I thought this was a fun episode. I think this probably has the funniest jokes of the series, or just maybe not even the funniest jokes, just overall quantity and quality. This is probably one of the funniest episodes of the series. Pollyann episode was great. And that's all I can really say for now, but just a really fun episode. Impact, what are your general thoughts on Lost in Newtopia?
I love Lost in Newtopia, dude. I love this episode. I love Anne and Polly's dynamic. Season 2 gives us a lot more of these, I like to call them combo episodes, where you have Anne teamed up with another character, and it's just, I love Anne and Polly's dynamic. They're like this force of nature that just destroys wherever they go, and it's great. I think you made a really good point about the humor in this episode. Some of the funniest jokes in the entire show. I love where we get to explore Newtopia. Lost in Newtopia is a treat for me. I love this episode. I love coming back to it, so it's great.
All right, thank you, Impact. Nick, what are your general thoughts on Lost in Newtopia?
I mean, basically everything you guys already said. I love this episode. It's another one of my go-to rewatch episodes for Amphibia, just because I love Polly and Anne's chaotic dynamic so much. Just how rarely it is explored in the series too. Because we pretty much just have this episode and Girl Time to really explore this dynamic and just see what these two are about when it comes to each other. And Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, this is just another great episode between these two. And honestly, there isn't like because this is like a whole lot to say besides the fact that the Amphibia crew they just wanted to make a funny and that was like just a really funny and really fun episode. Like that's what Lost in Utopia is, and I think they did a great job with that.
Thank you, Nick. And yeah, this episode was written by Geneva Mai. So I guess like the wiki credits are wrong. Uh-huh. well. But I think is this Anna O'Brien's first time boarding the show? Maybe she did an earlier episode, but I know she's worked on Big City Greens as a board artist, which is fun, which is cool. I know there's like a lot of overlap between like the Big City Greens and Amphibia cast crew.
Yeah. Now Matt led a mass exodus from Big City Greens and took them over to Amphibia.
Yeah, in season 1 of Big City Greens, yeah. I forgot which names. I know like Cheyenne Curtis and Geneva Mai was also a writer on BCG.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess this episode starts off with a shot of like Frobo maybe stuck or maybe just in the same position at the same place and the planners were when they first saw Newtopia. And I know that's just like the only scene featuring him in this batch of episodes, or I think this is his like this is a brief like a cameo appearance before Night Drivers, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I mean I always just assumed that like he just couldn't get into the walls, which is odd. Furbo never actually tried to like get in. I guess he wouldn't know how to, but like he's just kind of chilling, just waiting for them to get out. So
Yeah. Yeah, like we'll never. I'm not gonna like. It's not too related to the episode. Just we're never really gonna know why Frobo like followed specifically the planners unless it was just like first thing he saw. But that's probably like the topic for like Night Drivers. But
yeah.
We cut to we start off the segment with like the planners are basically getting like a tour of the city and this like the tour guide he's like emphasizing like how safe this tour is and Polly and Anne are not impressed. But yeah, they're pretty much like Hop Hop mentions that they're just kind of like yeah, they're just exploring the city until they're just waiting for Andrias to reveal some info about the box. And yeah, we'll talk about that once we get to the end of the segment.
Yeah. I will say that. I mean, I feel like they really set the scene well for like the rest of Newtopia after we met Andrias and Marcy for the first time because it's just, I mean, it's just the planters just basically chilling until they have to right like that's literally what the rest of Newtopia is after after pretty much planters check in. It's just the planters chilling in Newtopia, waiting for Andrias just to give them information, and we just have various fun, some really emotional adventures. And God, like I don't know, I feel like they really just I don't know. I feel like it just really goes well the fact that them coming to Newtopia is also supposed to be like a vacation in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just gives them time to really explore the city and just do all its awesome sights. So yeah, like that's I don't know. It just fits with the overall adventure vibe that season 2 has. God, yeah, they did a great job with that.
Yeah, and I think even with that too, it also brings like what's great about this is that I think I've said it a little bit before, but like yeah, it gives us time to just appreciate Newtopia. Now, like in this episode, where like an entirely different location in the city, it makes Newtopia feel like a much larger place than like obviously Wartwood's small, but like it really lets you know that Newtopia is this big, like, ancient city. You know what I mean? Like, this is a very, very important location. And besides just the whole season revolving around Newtopia, like every character wants to get there. Anne does. Marcy's already there. Sasha wants to get there. It lets you appreciate and understand why the city's so important. And soon enough, we're gonna figure out it's even more important than we think. You know what I mean? With all the backstory and stuff, but it lets you sink in to the setting. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, and Anne wants to kind of like experience Newtopia as like a local instead of a tourist, and we get that brief flashback of her and her mom traveling in Thailand, and you know, again, like Owen Brawley voices Mrs. Boonchoy here, and
That was her first look at her, right? Like her first actual idea of what she could look like,
yes,
right? And yeah, that was. I don't know. Like, I know it's a bit random to feel nostalgic now, but it's like, damn. Like back then, that was all we had. Like, we did not expect like basically a full season of her. But boy, I don't know. It was super awesome to get this back then.
yeah, and
The joke is just hilarious.
yeah, the baby carrots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I don't think I have like a full analytical thing with it. It's just funny.
Yeah, like I just don't. Yeah, I just love how like the present and just breaks like it's the present and it's just like a traumatic event that she just starts breaking down and crying and projects her feelings on some random passerby. Like,
Yeah, that random
it's
lady's
so
just like
good.
pulling the window up too.
Like, oh man, the fact she just breaks down and starts crying, like it's so good.
Yeah, and I think Matt said this is like one of the most like relatable jokes to him in the show. So like
Yeah, so that was another one of the fun things about this episode. Like, there's just that personal touch to it. I'm like, I don't know, I just love these kind of Amphibia episodes because it's a big reminder that like, yeah, that these are people behind the show making it, right? Like Lily Pad Thai, filming this. Like, those are two episodes where Matt admitted that he put a lot of it, like, right, like it's like a sort of personal story for them. Like, yeah, let me throw in Temple Frogs. Yeah, Temple Frogs. Like, so add Temple Frogs to that too. Like, it's Matt taking his home life. No, but let me add in like, fuck. There's also like the domino effect. I can't forget that. Like, seriously, man. Like a lot of
A lot of early
like
season one.
yeah, like yeah, a lot of early season one too. Yeah, like there's just I don't know. I just love seeing that from the TV. Like this whole episode is I guess it's Matt sort of like Matt's salty way of getting back at his mom for not letting him explore Thailand more. But yeah, I don't know. It's awesome, and I love this episode for that.
Yeah, I know. Like when you do visit like another place, it's like there's like some stuff like I couldn't drink the water when I went to visit Sri Lanka, like because like I'm not used to it apparently, so we just had to drink bottled water, like my sister and I.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I couldn't handle like I could. I went to like I visited Nigeria back in like a while back, and I couldn't handle the fried chicken there because it was like too spicy for me. Like I was way too used to the mild stuff I can get like in America, and it was just God, it was embarrassing just watching my family eat it there easily, and they're like staring at me like, Nick, what are you doing? Well, like, man, yeah, I don't know. This stuff is really relatable.
Yeah, and then that's
Like
when
that's just oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, Nick.
I mean, I was just gonna say like that's just yeah, like that's just I don't know. That's just one of the sweetest things about Amphibia to me.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get more of that in next week's episode.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, ooh yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, that's when Anne kind of like comes up with her scheme with Polly to like get out of this tour with Polly, and they they cut to the guy, like the tour guy, just like pointing to the ceiling and floor, and then Polly's like immediately on board with ditching, and yeah, like Just their excuses, just like oh, like a stomach ache, and like Hop Up got so sad about like he thought he had to leave
Yeah,
the
the
cheese
cheese
museum.
museum.
And then when Anne says like they'll walk home, like he immediately like just cut like he's immediately like reinvigorated.
Like, oh, that was so funny. Like, Hop up in his cheese hat.
Sprig being like chained up to him was hilarious though. Like, like
Yeah, that was a nice bit
really,
of continuity from Fort in the Road.
Oh, you know,
yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
It's such just a good excuse to be like, okay, Sprig, you're out of this episode. You're chained the hot pop.
Yeah, that
Like,
was cheese. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I love how like Sprig is so like Sprig is rightfully like freaking out about this, and like Hop Up just so like casually, he's just like, yeah, no, you just put on your cheese hat, and then like when they're taken away from the episode, like Sprig screaming on the bus.
Yeah.
I find it funny that like I know Sprig was the one who turned on the robot factory, but it was like Anne was the one who thought of the plan, like to get out the Fragon to begin with. So yeah,
But I guess because like remember that the lever incident where it's like
yeah,
like that's what I guess probably pissed off Hop Hop the most.
Yeah, I guess we're still the most active disobedient.
Yeah, and yeah, so they drive off, and then we get like all the nice background shots and all the little details of like all the newts just going about on their business, and like Anne and Polly just kind of just like just being observers. Like it was really like the backgrounds of the show are like super like well done.
yeah, and it's like each like I love that like this part of Newtopia is so distinct from like the rest we'll see in any other episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no matter which Utopia episode you're in, like you know specifically like which one it is, kind of like just from a screenshot, which is really hard to do for a city. They easily could have made Utopia kind of blend in together. You know what I mean? But they actively were
Yeah.
like made sure each episode had its own distinct location and like you knew which one you were in as soon as you like watched the episode. I just think that's awesome. They really made this place feel like like a real city, kind of with like all kinds of different like places to go to and stuff. It's great.
I 100% agree. Like
Yeah.
it just reminds you that like it is a very big city that they're in. Like it's much bigger than any other location they've ever been in Amphibia, and like there's just so much hustle and bustle to a life.
Yeah, especially this part of the city, it
Yeah.
gives off that like that I guess street market vibe with all
Yeah.
like the vendors set up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I didn't know what to call it. Like I cuz it's not like
it's a
I'm
lot
trying to think of a name for it.
it's a lot less like
Okay.
like you know how like the parts we saw of Utopia where it's like the main roads where everything's like a lot more like uniform. Um,
Yeah.
I guess everything's a lot more symmetrical in design. Like this thing, it's like everything's kind of like it's a lot more densely packed, like you said, Impact.
Yeah. I like it's I kind of get the vibe that this part of Newtopia is a lot more like has like a more tight knit community. I'm not sure why. It's just like it's the vibe I get out of it. There's like local like street food everywhere. You know what I mean? The other parts of Newtopia had like these not we don't know the prices of them, but I would assume like pretty expensive like restaurants and stuff. But this seems like more like local places. You know what I mean? So I kind of get the vibe off that. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we can start with their with Pollyanne's first stop, which is like grabbing something to eat, and they get these like spicy wraps from this guy named Jerry, who's voiced by Jack Ferrero, and the story editor on the show, and Anne immediate like yeah, I guess Anne being Thai like would help. That gives her some like I guess ranking on how much you could deal with the spot with the heat. But I guess Newtopia spices on like another level. It's like a literal
Yeah,
fire breathing.
yeah, and Jerry doesn't like get it. Like he's like, because Thailand doesn't exist in Amphibia. So like, when Anne says she's Thai, he's like, okay, I'm Jerry. That was great.
Yeah, like the show will always like take advantage of like the characters not knowing anything about Earth. Like I think we'll get another like joke like this later on, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that they can't like the just the language. Like I think this is the first time we ever got the Newtopia language, right?
yeah.
Like
No, I think didn't we see it back in like what was it? Yeah, Scavenger Hunt? Did we get like I think we got a shot of like the menu, right?
I think so, maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I
I'm
feel
not
like
sure.
this is
I
like
know like
I'm not sure if that menu had any Actually, I'm not entirely sure, but I do remember people using like the menu here as like a starting
yeah.
point for like translating the Utopian
yeah.
runes.
That's why I remembered it. Like, because I know like
Yeah.
a few when I was watching reaction channels for the show. Like, I know like a lot of YouTubers were like trying to figure it out or whatever, or like even in like the Discord itself. You know what I mean? Like, people are deciphering that shit in like 2 seconds. So
Yeah, Impact. Like
yeah,
during that time, it's like yeah, this is when we started. Like we didn't have all the letters, but we like started getting at least the vowels, and that was like pretty important because I remember someone was able to like identify crab legs somehow, and then like that kind of like helped like form like the rest of the menu, and then like not all the letters were confirmed at the time. Like we were still like going back. Like there's still like debate on like whether or not this letter was right or not. But then yeah, I think next episode.
there's like a little bit more, right? Forget. It's a
Yeah,
little
I
broader
think
than.
sleepover to end all
Well,
sleepovers helped like that was a big help in actually no that was the same episode as the day of the aquarium stuff. Yeah, I think it was the menu here that kind of helped. Like this was like the main thing that helped us like translate the prophecy in in Day of the Aquarium.
oh, okay. Because like when I was first watching the show, like I didn't even think about that at all until like I jumped into the fan base and like all the Discord and stuff I see on the lore. Like you guys have like all the languages pinned or whatever. I forget exactly, but like because it's funny when the language is like read in the show, like in episodes like Fight at the Museum, like I just see like people just instantly able to translate. I'm like, how the hell did they do that? Oh yeah, you can actually read it. Like, I don't know. It was never like I'm not a lore guy, so like I'm not trying to find that stuff. I'm just like, oh, it's gibberish. Like that probably doesn't say anything. And then like, oh wait, it does say something. Like eventually. So I love that they did that though. Like it's like a legit language you can read. It was just like a fun thing. Like fans could do. Like they didn't have to do that. They could have just made it random letters, but no, they made it like a legit alphabet. Like fans could actually figure out. So I just think that's awesome. Like just
Yeah, I get
awesome.
it. Yeah, I get exactly what you mean because it's like I feel like most like a lot of shows will it's just like random gibberish. They don't actually they don't actually want you to translate it. Then like God, they really went above and beyond to create this other language and then put it like it basically went from like a bunch of fun little background details to one of like probably like the most significant lore drop the show ever put out. Like, it's pretty crazy that they did all that. But yeah, no, that's just awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's funny because like okay, wait, no, that's Day at the Aquarium talk. I won't get into that, but yeah, it's great.
yeah, but like, yeah, and also during the season 2B uh promos, because at that time we got like a new promo every week. Um, at the end of each promo on the Disney TVA Twitter, they did post like an official like translation of some of the letters each week until it filled
Oh,
out
I
the
didn't know
alphabet.
that.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that. I
But then
remember
like by then everyone was kind of like everyone already knew we already deciphered everything.
that. Yeah.
But I guess that was more for like the like general audience, like people who at least watch the promos, like, oh, what's this? Okay. And then they would probably look it up, and that's when they find out, oh, this was already like decoded.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that like at all.
Yeah, and I guess back to the episode, like, yeah, like Anne immediately like submerged her head in that I guess like fish tank or yeah that fish tank, and Polly made fun of her until like she started breathing fire and burned the roof off Jerry's cart. And unfortunately, this Jerry doesn't accept the royal credit card. It's cash only. Okay, the cash only sign, that was what helped translate stuff, because like Jerry said cash only and he shows the sign, so people like identified like those letters, and then that's how they got to the menu, and then that's what snowballed into the whole alphabet getting translated.
Oh, there you have it.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, go ahead, Nick.
oh, no, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna keep going on with the episode.
I mean, I don't really have anything to add to the scene, but I had something in mind that I just forgot. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, just go ahead. I literally cannot remember.
Hey, actually, hold on. I got one thing I want to add because like I just like Annan, like it's just we're on Annan Polly now. It's like it's crazy how much this is so different from Girl Town to Girl Time. Like Girl Time, like Anne's trying to like force Polly to just do stuff like that she considers girly. In this episode, like they're like this force of nature that like doesn't stop. Like they destroy like everything in their path. They destroy Jerry's cart. Like they'll do some other stuff with the parade or whatever. Like I love their dynamic. They're not like Anne's not like trying to take control or anything. They're just having fun like doing crazy shit. And it's great.
Thunder and
It's just
lightning.
like yeah, like, it's great.
I mean, Polly was literally like lightning in an episode.
Yeah, Jesus, man, Polly's like, okay, seriously, if Anne could basically become a Super Saiyan, like Polly would easily be the strongest planter. I mean, like Christ, like she just like she shoots out, like it's crazy what she can do. She becomes like I don't know, like literal lightning at one point. Then she spits out fire. Like it's like it's Pokemon. She has Volt Tackle, she has Flamethrower, and then she has Water Gun. It's like, dude, like she can do all these crazy things. Then like the players, they're just like, I'm sorry, but Paulie's overpowered. Like just straight up overpowered.
Yeah, I like how the way they leave this scene is that like Anne just chucks Polly into the next like scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that. Like,
yeah, there's like so few frames for that movement. She's like immediately like just like Polly just
just fucking chucks her. Geez. And like I just love the next scene just opens up with Polly saying like, "Hey, Annie, can you not throw me?" Like, oh my holy crap!
And Jerry is like so like adamant to get them. Like, like I don't blame him. Like he needs his money. Like, and destroyed his cart. So like, we'll have that come up later. But like, yeah, that whole scene is just great.
Oh, and also people mentioned that when they're hiding behind the turtles, this is the first time we saw turtles in Amphibia.
I didn't even know. So you're right. Huh.
I didn't even think about
Have you ever?
I'm trying to think like if I've ever seen a turtle. Like no.
There were turtles in the pilot, and then people were like, I guess, yeah, people were just discussing. Oh yeah, like this is the first time we saw turtles. That's pretty much it. Okay, the moment where Anne says like she feels a lot so alive, like the animation on her face is like super smooth compared to everything else. Like those moments where like it's like the animation like gets like way more smooth for like just like some movements. I don't know how to describe it. For anyone who's watched DuckTales, it's every time like Louis moved.
Louis just starts talking. Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I didn't even notice that the first time, but you're totally right. Like, it just gets really smooth all of a sudden.
Yeah, Amphibia likes to do that, like, well, kind of randomly. Usually it does it for like a super big important scene. You know what I mean? But there's like those moments where it's like, why the animation get like 10 times better all of a sudden?
Oh,
Yeah.
like when when
Like
Toadie
the
was
Bug Ball
dribbling.
game.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was so smooth all of a sudden. Like, I was so confused. I was like, what?
Yeah, they put
Like, I
extra budget
appreciate
on
it.
that part
Candy.
specific.
Yeah. Like, it was so random.
we're talking about the part where like Toadie was dribbling the ball. I don't know, like it's such a yeah, like yeah. But yeah, the next step is looking like the locals, and we get the Tails joke, and like people were using
Dude,
this.
that is.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I mean, I was gonna say, I'm sorry, that is just so fun to say along with. I don't know. Every time I watch this episode, I'm always just like, I'm clapping them. I'm like, tails. I'm like, tails, 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 tails. Like, I go along with them every time.
Yeah, and the guy in the shop goes with it too. That makes it even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like at the time in 2020, like this was when I know this was the time where we like got like the first like teaser for Sonic 2, like the movie, where we just got like the movie logo with like the Tails like with like the Tails like image. And then like that's when people were using this as like the reaction reaction video. Like I think especially Matt.
That's funny.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I think.
Yeah, he said something like it's like me and the like it's like going into the theaters for Sonic 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so the yeah, the
I was
shopkeeper. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna mention like the shopkeeper, like though Anne's trying to like the shopkeeper like turns around with his tail and like, do I doesn't know what to
But
do.
yeah. I was so confused as to why like, Anne was even saying that. Like, what was Anne thinking?
Yeah, it's like a customs thing. It's like just the when you go to like a new place and you don't know how like I
How
guess
anything works.
yeah, how everything works basically.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like mess up like 5 times. Someone's got it. I don't know. I just find it
Nice.
funny that like just the awkwardness of that scene, and it happens so quick. Like you could miss the joke like instantly, but like it's great. I love it.
Oh, and the place is called Tails R Us. Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so because Anne calls themselves locals, like he assumes that the replacement tail will grow back, and and then Anne just like takes the biggest one. And even like they do like the uncomfortable like close up. Oh man. But yeah, then meanwhile like Polly just gets like the spiky tail prosthetic thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and just them walking out with like the smoke.
Part killed me.
Rewatching it now, yeah.
Like the
Like, it was
music, the way they walk out, it's like it's great.
Yeah, I'm rewatching that right now. But yeah, and they can't control their tail, so Anne just starts hitting everyone with it, and eventually like gets a guard's attention, and then like he wants to try and arrest them. Oh, this is where we get to see the mailman Newt.
Yeah, all of it, yeah. Debut.
Yeah, I guess for those of you who don't know, we just called him Oliver because it's like kind of looks like something from Oliver Twist, and plus he shows up in True Colors. I guess this is kind of a deep cut, but the
Yeah, it
original
is.
the original the first True Colors uh the first edition of True Colors had like someone like maybe confused the reference sheets, and like instead of Olivia in the True Colors like group shot for like a couple of frames, it was this guy, like this random nude guy, but then it was corrected in the
The
official.
final.
Yeah, yeah, we should say final, like we should say the official release of True Colors. It was fixed. And
Yeah,
that was
but
like the
since
only
then,
that was the only change made to the episode aside from like the content warning.
yeah, it got it, and then just since then, people have just been calling like the leak version like the Oliver cut, like just because of that one shot of him being there, and like,
It
oh man,
it took me so long to figure out what like you guys were talking about. Like who's Oliver? Like I had no like it took me like months to figure out. I didn't try to look it up, but I'm like, who the hell are they talking about? Like who's the I had no clue. Like there was like an animation error like in True Colors like for like Olivia and like someone else was there. Like it took me forever to figure out. Oh, okay. Like it's a deep cut. Like I don't think anyone's like who watches the show now, like on Disney Plus, when it's all finished, is gonna know who the hell Oliver is. Like, yeah,
Yeah, there's yeah, there's a lot of like that's like that's close to the bottom of the iceberg.
yeah.
But yeah, like this guard tries to arrest them, they run off. And they run off into this parade. Uh, and then eventually like Polly and Anne decide to join in on the parade, and Anne does something culturally insensitive with the parade mascot, and because it was like for like some kind of war hero, and everyone's pissed at them, and the mascot thing's head gets ripped off by Anne by accident. Now like they have a whole mob after them, and
I one thing I do want to mention about like this scene, like just I love the guard joke. Like he's what does he say? He says like,
oh, we'll never find them.
"Gosh dang it, yeah, like we'll never find." Like, dude, like we didn't run that far. Like, and he's like, "I'm lazy, man. I'm out."
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like most cartoons would like actually work with that excuse, like the first guy said. Like, I feel like I don't know, maybe that's just me, but like most like guards in like cartoons are like stupid. You know what I mean? Like the character can run off like out of sight for like 2 seconds and they can't find them. Like I don't know. I feel like that joke's kind of playing with that idea. So yeah.
Yeah, and then later we'll see those guards again. Like they're just like on some sort of like lunch break, and then when Anne tells them to chase them to chase Polly Ann, like the guy like shoves like his sandwich in the other guy's mouth and runs off. Like it's just like such a weird but funny moment.
Yeah, and like the guard goes like, "Yo, it's those two kids." Like one of them is like a kid, the other one's like a scruffy. Like, and it's like, just chase us already. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Oh yeah, and then
that's great.
what's his name? Jerry comes back with the with siege mode cart.
Yeah, dude, that's so like I think that's the whole joke of the episode. Just fucking like he's like please mode. Like he says it with so much like dramatic effect. Like, Stage mode. I love that.
Yeah, and it's like loaded with weapons. Like
Yeah, dude.
Damn, that's making me want. Like, I wish Jerry was in like the rebellion, yo, for season 3. Bring that back, like,
oh man, that would have been so good. Because like we had Bella in it too, and some of the other new characters. I think like Priscilla. Yeah, we should have
yeah,
brought.
Priscilla's like an all in, like, but like
Yeah,
Bella's the
background.
only like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
Bella was the only one who got like a moment.
that kind of like I don't know. It's weird because like the season 2 callbacks for like in season 3, like there's a lot more season 1 callbacks than season 2 callbacks in 3. Like obviously we solved some mysteries that we had in season 2, but like a lot of the characters that we had here, like Bella or like even like some one-offs like Jerry, Priscilla, we don't get like a whole big episode on them. Like the biggest newt we get in season 3 is like Tritonio. That's so weird, like
And he was season
to
1.
think about. Yeah, exactly. Like
Hmm.
that's weird to think about now. Like there's so many like season 2 characters that like don't really come back. Like I don't think, well, okay, there's a few that do, but like it's not a lot. It's weird. It's mostly just like the mysteries of like that's set up in like sleepover and end all sleepovers and like Day at the Aquarium. Like all the Newtopia castle junk. But every other character we know from like Newtopia, like we have no clue what happened to most of them, like after True Colors. Like they're either dead or enslaved or part of the resistance and we don't see. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's a really good point actually. Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah. So at this point, Anne and Polly have kind of realized the error of their ways, and they're running back. They're running away from this mob, and eventually they run into. They literally run into the tour bus again, and we get that. I like how when they hit the window, like Sprig is just like super happy to see them while Hop Pop's like freaking out. And then, we get that very like
He's like, street breeze.
Yeah.
yeah, we get that really wholesome moment where he like calls Anne his adopted granddaughter.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cute. That was great.
yeah, that was so sweet.
Yeah, that was nice. And yeah, like the tour guide's like, yeah, don't open the windows, and then like Sprig immediately like pulls like the emergency like yeah, like that emergency thing where like you can open up. It's in case the bus like tips over. At least there's like one direction to like get out. But they're Anne and Polly are trying to get back in. Then Polly brings up the other. What was their first team name? It was
They put Anne.
Anne, and then
Yeah,
this one was like Anne Ollie.
Anne Ollie.
yeah, and Ollie.
The Hop Hop is like, nah, that name's trash. Like,
No, he says it's even worse. Like Sprig's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I thought Anne was okay. Like, Anne Ollie does suck though. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like I think Anne worked, but that's just me.
like even
Like,
Pollyann would be pretty good. I know like Pollyanna is like the name of an ancestor, like not ancestor, like a planter relative.
yeah, but like Anne Ollie is like, I don't know. It's like too much. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's it. Oh wait, actually, one thing. Like, I love that Polly just starts like. I love their way to get out of this is just Anne just shoves food in Polly's mouth and then she just starts breathing fire. Like,
Yeah, she does
great.
the neck kick, but like like you guys have seen like the throat punch, right? I thought like it felt like it felt like throat punch would have been like a better version of this scene, but then like they couldn't show Anne punching someone in the throat, so they had to do like the foot kick. I don't know. That's just the vibe that I got from that.
Wait, so kicking's better than punching? Like, that sounds like that would be way worse. You got kicked in the neck than punched in the neck. Like,
I don't know, maybe because it's like less direct. It's just like a foot.
Disney doesn't allow a punch in the neck, but a kick in the neck, that's fine. Totally okay.
But even remember when Hop Hop decked Toadstool, like he was wearing like those really big um like mushroom boxing gloves. So kind of like
It didn't make it as brutal,
yeah,
but
even though it was brutal,
yeah,
like
because
yeah.
yeah, which is funny because I think I mentioned this before. It's just like like Titty Amphibians themselves, the characters can't really do too much, but like it's crazy how like punching someone like is a big deal, like to the amphibians. But once we get to the robots, it's like a okay, like like even like Toadstool like decks one directly in the face. Like, I
And
just find that
and
funny.
even in True Colors, like when Anne punches Sasha, like they wrap she wraps Sasha's head just to avoid showing like and even they cut away kind of from
Yeah.
the actual hit.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
always
you
like,
just see
yeah,
like yeah, because like I think Anne does she punches Olivia. I think like in in the beginning of the end, like, but they block it, so it's not like the biggest deal. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, dude. That's always like some of the funnest. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't. It's always just so fun to see how like a cartoon goes ham when it comes to robot violence. Because like you have like that one shot of Moggle ripping off like a robot's head and then like drinking drinking all the oil that pours out. Like, holy shit! like
Yeah.
yeah,
that was dark.
Yeah, and then yeah, so eventually like Polly starts breathing fire, and then that scares everyone off, and the tour bus just goes to the cheese museum. Oh yeah, and Anne and Polly just like casually like just walk back to their seats, and that one guy in the back is just like applauding for the spectacle. So I think
Yeah, I think like what's I was just gonna say like it's funny like Anne and Polly just sit down like everything was just completely normal. Like that was just great. Like it just adds like there's all this like crazy shit that just happened, and Anne and Polly just walk into the bus and chill. And then the guy's like, "You want to go to the cheese museum?" Like, yes. And then it ends from there. Well, it doesn't end, but like essentially it does.
yeah, and then that's pretty much the end of the story of the segment, and then we like get like a one more. We get like a minute of Andrias and Marcy like researching for information on the box in the archives, and I guess like they can't find anything until Marcy trips on something and spills the frappuccinos or cappuccino or whatever, like the cappuccinos, onto some like random tapestry that reveals like the secret button for this underground passage. And I
Which is
guess
like,
it's.
you can go.
I guess we could talk about how like there's a secret passageway. Andrews didn't know about it apparently. Um,
Yeah.
Even though it's conveniently Leviathan sized, and they head down for answers, and the segment. I guess I'll start off with my gripe first, so we could like talk more positive, like we could be more positive about it. It's just like it seemed like they were setting up another episode where we'd actually get to know what was down there, and then it kind of the
Yeah.
season cuts away. The season cuts to like sleepover to end all sleepover. Sorry, a day at the aquarium, where it's just like, oh, we found the book down there, or they don't even say they found the book down there. They just show the book, and it's just we had to we had to like we had to put the steps together to kind of think, okay, like they probably found the book downstairs here, but we never got to like see that actually happened. And like I'm complaining about this now, but like this seems like the kind of thing that the Marcy Journal would probably address.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I mean, it's probably going to give us lots of tidbits on early to Andreas, like just all like the fun side stuff we never got to see.
Yeah. It's like though I agree with you though. Like I thought like it felt like this was setting up something a lot bigger. I mean, I guess it does technically, but it's like the way like the scene is like shot, it makes it seem like, oh my god, that's gonna be like a big thing we get to next time. Like, and like I thought that was like a mystery that was gonna be revealed. Like, I don't even know what exactly, but like just what's down there in general. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
in Olivia and Yunnan, I'm like, oh, we're in the castle. We're definitely gonna go down there. We never go back to that location ever. Like we have no clue what's down there. I felt like they were like gonna do something with that. I don't know what happened. Like I think he could have framed that scene a little differently. Like even if it was like it lasted longer or something, and they found some information on the box. So then like now we know what's inside there, and then like the next episode we deal with it. But like it's really weird. Like I saw a lot of YouTube channels going like, what was it like? Mystery is like not found yet in the show, and like this scene always comes up there, and it's like I guess it was answered, but it doesn't feel like it was. Like it's weird.
like I was thinking about it last night. Like, I guess what the scene wanted to show is that they wanted to set up the idea, like, okay, does Andrews know everything? And then once you get to like the first temple where he like opens like a secret passageway, you immediately think, okay, he was like bullshitting the entire time, even before you meet the core. Like the moment where he like goes in front of Aldrich's statue, like his father's statue, and like opens up that passageway, you immediately know, okay, he knew about all this. Like, and Marcy kind of just it's like Marcy kind of discovered this by accident. I don't think like Andrias probably didn't intend to like he didn't intend for this to happen. He kind of just rolled with it. And maybe eventually he would have like come up with a plan to have like Marcy like naturally like discover the mysteries of the box with him. It just happened to happen at this moment. Or he was relying on like Marcy's natural like curiosity to discover one of these like secret passageways, just as long as it wasn't the Core's room.
Yeah, like that would have been funny. But that would have been interesting. What if AU? Like, but anyways, like, yeah, like it's one of those weird things where even when I was watching the show, I'm like, I was already like suspicious of Andrias, but not like hardcore like he's definitely evil. I was just like, there's something sus about this guy. Like and like I don't know. But like I was gonna just mention like with the Marcy, like her finding the thing. It's weird though. It's not like a Leviathan size like button. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he would actively find it himself. Unless he like bumped into it and it's like, oh my god, Marcy, look, there's like this like new like whatever. Like I guess he was just kind of biding his time until Marcy messes something up or whatever,
Yeah.
But it is weird like how that works. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like I could totally see it being the case where like Andrias, if Marcy didn't like realize anything herself, like he could have like sort of made it look like he discovered something big that could have like led them to that room or something. Like what I mean? Like it could have worked. And I feel like I'm bringing up this random point, but I don't know. I was just thinking about the fact that like he was probably also having fun with her, but that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, like he was definitely deceiving her in this scene, acting like he knew nothing. But yeah, I just there's like I didn't say much. I didn't say much like this whole time when you guys were talking, but like, yeah, there's like so many things I want to go back to right now. Like when you mentioned about the first temple, like I don't know if that's intentional or not, but like, dude, that's just genius, right? Like the fact that he acts like he knows nothing about the secret rooms in and around the castle, but then he just casually strolls over to his father's statue and then he just pulls the lever and then he just goes down a long stairwell. Like it's like God, like he always plays himself as just this innocent, jolly guy. While part of that's true, like no, at the same time, there's also this other side of him that he doesn't show off that much.
And like I wonder how long he was like just reading stuff with Marcy, like I'm guessing he's already read all this stuff and he's just or maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's just like doing casual reading while like Marcy's like actually like, trying to solve like a century-long mystery.
Always assumed that like Andrias my headcanon is like Andrias was just like actively like after like the box got stolen, Aldrich went into the core, he was like relentlessly like searching up ways like how to get the box back or like anything about the box or the core was telling him or whatever. So like I get the vibe that like he might have not even been reading. He might have just been patiently thinking like, oh my god, when is this girl gonna find like that secret entrance like for like hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and just one other thing, like I love Marcy's like no, like
oh yeah, that was
falls with the coffee. That was funny. Like
yeah.
So I guess we can go into. I guess we'll do final thoughts on Lost in Newtopia. I guess starting with Impact. Anything else you wanted to add on?
oh, actually, yeah, there is one thing. What are the things like I like to just like besides everything I said at the beginning? Lost in Newtopia is really cool because it also brings like Newtopia is fun, right? Anne isn't really like super like objective focused now. She's kind of just like, let's have fun, let's chill. And this is like a great moment in the middle of the story, right? But like it's so different from Earth and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, here she's just messing around. On Earth, like we get the episodes like Fight at the Museum, Temple Frogs. She does not want to have fun. She is like, I gotta get to Amphibia. I gotta save my friends. I gotta stop the invasion. Like she's like actively avoiding like all this fun stuff like these she could do on Earth when she's there. Like it's such a different vibe. Like from this point where like especially since season 3 didn't have like that tension of like Amphibia's getting destroyed, Marcy's in a whatever like healing thing, Sasha's like doing something crazy like with the resistance. Like there isn't as much tension as there is in the story. Like at this point where it's just this chill, fun like adventures. Like you're not thinking about all that crap. Like so like I don't know. It's just like a good like the Newtopia arc's kind of like a feel good moment in the story where the characters get to just enjoy themselves before the crazy shit starts happening. Like, but yeah, it's just like a just good reminder of that with this episode.
All right, thank you, Impact. Nick, any final thoughts for Lost in Newtopia?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know like what else to say for me. Yeah, I love this episode. It's really funny. It's sort of like the finale so I guess just sort of like this dynamic. Because I mean, after this, we don't really get another episode that tries to like thoroughly explore it. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good way to go out. Like it has a ton of like my favorite jokes from the show. It's just a really easy one to rewatch, and yeah, all around just one of my favorites from the Newtopia arc.
All right, thank you, Nick. And yeah, overall, like I just thought it was a really fun episode, really funny. All the jokes landed. Pollyann moments, like Impact said, force of nature. And yeah, just overall like a really good time. So with that, we can go into Sprig Gets Schooled, which was written by Gloria Shen, storyboards by Inbal Breda and Cassie Zwart, and directed by Kyler Spears. So I'll go last. I guess Sprig Goes to College. That's the episode. I guess starting with Impact, what are your general thoughts on this segment?
So so Spring Gets Schooled. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Spring Gets Schooled. It's my least favorite episode of the show. Full stop. I don't like Sprig Gets Schooled. I like the Anne and Polly moments. I mean, that's fun, But I'm gonna try to be nice with this episode. Cause like I'm gonna be frank, even the episodes I don't like in Amphibia, I can never put any Amphibia episode in like a F or D tier. Like just in general. It's just very hard for me to, because there's always something good to find in like whatever episode you watch. But Sprig Gets Schooled for me is like, I don't like this episode. I don't. And it's that's it. It's that's all I'm gonna say. Well, I'll explain more when we get into it. But I'm gonna try to be nice, but you're gonna tell I don't like it. That's all.
All right, thank you, Impact. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Nick, what are your thoughts on Sprig Gets Schooled?
Honestly, I mean, yeah, like, when I saw this episode for the first time, I did find it to be kind of forgettable. Like, I just wasn't that into it. But, yeah, like, I rewatched it recently now. I'm like, yeah, if I'm honest, yeah, I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed on Lost in Newtopia. I just consider these two to be, like, they're not the best pair that we got from Amphibia. Well, they're not they're not the best. Yeah, they're not the best pair we got from the Newtopia arc, but, like, I think there's two pretty fun back-to-back episodes. Like Spring Gets Schooled, I feel like my favorite way to view it is just the fact that it does feel like an episode that's sort of reward Sprig for the journey so far. For all the different adventures he went through, because he's able to he's able to give this foolproof strategies for for what, hunting down no, not hunting down, but I forgot what it was. It was like that giant grasshopper thing. Or was it praying mantis? Well, whatever. I'm forgetting things here, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's my favorite way to view Sprig, because going to Newtopia University, that's one of the highest honors you can get in Amphibia, and just the idea that Sprig, for all his trials and tribulations, he's managed to earn a permanent spot in there. To me, I just love thinking about the episode like that, and honestly, yeah, it's I say I like this episode, but I don't have anything I dislike about it. It's just, I don't know if I can call this one of my favorite episodes, or I can call it great. It's just, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those episodes I like. I guess the most I can give it to. I like this episode. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Nick. So I love this episode. I just thought it was really fun to get to see Sprig go to college and deal with college stuff. Just I'll get into the moments more in the episode. I just thought, the Sprig and Hop Up moments definitely, I think definitely were the strongest parts of the episode for me, but I'll get into that later. I guess starting off with the episode, it's yeah, the planners are just sightseeing. They think this is a park, and Sprig want to play frisbee, and then that's when they kind of realize, once they see all of all the students doing their just being students, I guess, that's when Hop Hop realizes they're at Newtopia University. And I love how Hop Hop has that that standard parent ambition, wanting the kids to get a higher education, basically. Yeah, and I think he says none of the planners have ever gone to the university before.
Yeah, and this is it is cool that we are in this location though, because Utopia University is set up I think in Fiddle Me This, right? It might be
Yes.
yeah. So it's it is cool that once we go to Newtopia, the writers don't technically have to, but it's nice that we kind of we go to a place that was already established to be there now. So I mean, that is a plus. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to talk more about that connection later on, where they teased Newtopia University in Fiddle Me This. But I guess for now, yeah, yeah, Hop Hop has this dream for his kids. Polly is not interested, and she kind of roasts Sprig about it, not having his attention span wouldn't be able to wouldn't be of good use in Amphibia or in Newtopia University. Yeah, and then oh yeah, they immediately cut the joke off with Anne just throwing the frisbee to him, and he just immediately leaves the conversation. And okay, I guess I'll keep talking about the episode, but yeah, we meet the professor. He's giving some sort of lecture outside, and he's asking about how to defeat those giant that giant a giant mantis. Okay, a mountain mantis, and everyone gives everyone gives very like calculating answers, and like the professor's like kind of. I'm listening to the scene again. Like they're just saying a bunch of like random like statistics and calculations.
Yeah, like none of that makes. I don't know. I just didn't understand what I was hearing.
No, I just like how it's like all these like boring answers. And then Sprig says like the most straightforward thing, and then
Yeah.
at that very moment, like Sprig gets to show off his like his knowledge, and then his athleticism, and then
Yeah.
and he's already impressed, and then like he starts playing the fiddle too, and it's like we remember like Sprig is like pretty talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hop Pop immediately runs up. He's like, "What did he break? What did he break?" I just love how he just like runs onto the scene, like assuming that from Sprig.
One thing, like, I don't know, like, I was gonna backtrack a little bit because it just popped into my head, just in general. Like, I think I forget if this is the scene where like Anne goes like college is this place, like we can just go in and like break no rules and have no consequences. Like, is this? I think this is the scene, and it's like I just love like Anne just she's doing this consistently where she's just pulling TV knowledge and just like she's never questioning it like ever. Like she did that I think like in the Wally episode.
Yeah, Swamp and
Not like
Sensibility. With
yeah, and then she kind of
yeah.
with the yeah, like she takes the lesson from that movie and she just projects it on real life, and I just find it funny that she does it again here. Like the girl never learns her lesson. Like so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then yeah, like Professor Herringbone or whatever, like he offers pretty much Sprig the chance to actually like be a student at the university for a day, just like a prep program. And then like he believes he wants to offer Sprig like that role basically. Yeah, trial stay for the night. And Sprig is immediately like on board with the idea. Hop Hop's supportive, but you can see by the look on his face, he's feeling something else, which we'll get into later, but I just love how yeah, and Sprig's like super like he's doing this for Hop Hop, like, and I like how Anne this entire time was just like waiting for the frisbee to come back. And then when
Yeah, that was funny.
and then when Sprig tells Anne, "I'm going to college," Anne's like, "That's great." Wait, what? And then just immediately cuts to Sprig.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how like Sprig just gets in like pretty much to college after doing like one like well, I guess it was one thing, but like he gets a frisbee, says like one good answer, and then he's like, "All right, you're in, bro."
Oh, he also
Like,
plays the fiddle.
oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. He does play the fiddle.
Yeah.
He's just like full scholarship, bro. There you go.
Yeah, full ride, man.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, then like yeah, immediately cuts back to the university. Sprig's already in his like uniform. And like he's Sprig starts off optimistic, young, and had a bright future ahead of him, and the uni life breaks him down bit by bit.
Yeah.
Like immediately when he walks in, like he's hopping in, and then immediately gets told like not to do that. Gets his hat taken away.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
I love how he freaked out when like his hair was showing. I guess it's like I guess it's like not in use.
I don't think like I don't remember Sprig. I think he might have freaked out about his hair showing before. I always remember that being more of a trade of Ivy instead of Sprig. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I think like just to change it a little bit, the subject. I do like how like Sprig is like at least in this episode, it's just like Sprig is just what's the right word? He just like learns differently from everyone else, so it kind of gives him like this. The episode isn't like telling us like, oh, Sprig is like, even though I don't think cartoons usually do this, like Sprig is like dumb for not getting this. It just kind of tells us like, oh no, Sprig just learns a little differently, and like that's okay. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's not being mean spirited about it. It's just like understanding that like yeah, like he learns differently from the rest of the Newts here because he didn't come from Newtopia. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that is
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, and even he's like he's getting adjusted to everything, and then like when he does make a mistake, it's like he kind of like corrects himself once he's like told not to do that. Like he's trying to like step over the desks, but then eventually like realizes he has to go around and oh, we also get that thing where he just like randomly says hi to like the person sitting next to him. It's like super quick.
Yeah. Like poor kid's just trying to like fit in. Like he's just he's just like he's just trying to sit down.
And then when the professor's like drawing like the circle that looks like a target, like he immediately starts shooting at it. I just thought it was funny. Like he immediately just like pulled out the slingshot and then gets confiscated. Uh, yeah. So then we get that montage of him like doing school events. Like
Yeah, and like Sprig, like I love like I don't know if this is like a reference to like I think the episode's Trip to the Archives, like where they like placed a bunch of books like
yeah,
up to get to the rooftop. Like I like to think that's a reference to it. Like that's the only like Sprig didn't try to read in there. You know what I mean? So like that's the only way he knows how to interact with books. So so when he's in the library, he doesn't know what else to do. I think that's great.
wait. The library looks familiar though.
Oh, I know what you mean. Like it had like the whole.
It
I
looked.
even noticed it had like the same painting that the archives did. I think.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what like tipped me off to it. Like it looks like. Yeah, the layout looks like something from Trip to the Archives, and then maybe it's the same place from All In inside like the core's inner sanctum. I'm not sure. I'll look it up later,
Maybe
but
I think like nah, I wouldn't be able to know. Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah,
But I don't think it is. I think they're different.
yeah, but it definitely looks like at least the tables looks like Into the Archive, Trip to the Archives, like the layout with the desks, and then yeah, the painting.
Which makes me wonder if like I forget like I don't know if I don't think Trip to the Archives tells us who like
They did.
created the archives.
They
Oh, they did.
yeah, they gave
Okay.
us like a whole backstory. He died like the moment he stepped outside the valley.
Wait, did it?
Yeah.
Did it tell us like if it was like a newt or something or like I forget exactly because I don't know. I just find it interesting that like both libraries look extremely similar to each other. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's like a remnant from Newtopia that came outside to outside of it. I don't know. I just thought that would be interesting.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if the archives was like very early was very old enough to like kind of like remember the and like to remember like the golden age and kind of like grab some stuff off that before everything was kind of forgotten.
Maybe,
Because I
yeah.
know the
I,
stuff in the they had like this really like complex contraption to like keep the doors open and closed depending on like a sunlight timer. But
you would think it would be like if it was from that time, you'd think it'd be more like, I don't know, robotic. You know what I mean? Like
True,
maybe
yeah.
that just kind of got deteriorated with time. Like it would just be like a, I don't know, like an eye scan or something, face scan. I don't know, something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, we also got Sprig, like, drawing, like... It's a reference to, I think, not Flood, Sweat, and Tears, Cane Crazy, where it's, like, showing Anne, Sprig, and Polly, like, fighting off that tree, the Doom Tree monster, I
Yeah,
think.
I guess yeah, that was just the stuff I was getting at back before. Like it just like I feel like it's lately on the episode. Like they don't really they're like very direct about it, but I don't know. Like just getting an opportunity like this for Sprig just feels like really earned, and like I feel like that's like my own because I know this is an episode about Hop Hop and Sprig's relationship, but I don't know. I guess what I really do appreciate is I don't know. It just gives this sort of oomph to everything that Sprig has gone through at this point because he's developed like pretty strongly on multiple talents, right? And like here, he got so good at it that he's at like he was accepted like a full ride into like the best university in the whole wide Amphibia, like the whole wide world of Amphibia, and like I don't know how to put this like well into words, but I don't know. There's just something really nice about all this, but that's all I got for this moment here. But yeah, I don't know. The callbacks are awesome too. Like I won't deny that.
yeah,
Callbacks are awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Hop Hop, like, it cuts to Hop Hop. Oh, we get that quick, like, scene on the football field where, like, Sprig just gets tackled.
Yeah, poor guy.
And,
Yeah, that was funny.
yeah, it cuts to, like, around, like, nighttime. Hop Hop's just, like, watching Sprig from afar. And, like, he blew up something in, like, in this chemistry class, and Hop Hop's just, like, reminiscing about the past, and pulls out the memory box and looks at Sprig's old tale, and he's getting all emotional. Yeah, just like we saw, like Hop Hop, like this is what he wanted for Sprig, but like he has to get used to the idea of like Sprig going away. And I like the idea. I like how on this trip he's carrying all of Sprig and Polly's like childhood mementos. Like he still has Sprig's like old like tadpole tail. And it's like all crusty and dried up. And it just makes the scene funnier when he's just getting so emotional while there's like an explosion in the background. I think someone like falls out the window.
Yeah, that was funny. Like, and I love when Sprig like pours. He's at the pour like I don't even know what it is. Like into the other like liquid, and then like he's looking away. Like he knows it's
because a
probably not gonna
butterfly.
work. But what the hell? Oh, okay. I thought he was looking away because he thought it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah. That was hilarious. Hop Pop's like busy reminiscing, thinking that Sprig's having the time of his life, and fucking Sprig just lights the whole room on fire. Like, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Bessie's also like comforting Hop Hop with her eye. She's like patting him on the head while he's crying, and yeah, then it cuts to like Anne and Polly just like watching one of like Anne's like shows or movies with what she thinks is what she thinks the college life is like, and like the college dude is voiced by Roger Craig Smith. So just a fun fact.
Wait, really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Shoot.
He
Yeah, I know
he voiced some minor
a
roles.
guy.
He voiced the Newt guard in the previous episode too, one of them. The orange one.
Oh,
So he did a few
I
like minor roles.
Oh, okay. Because I thought like the only role I knew he had was like that clown guy, like in Sprig's birthday. I completely like I didn't. I don't even know if we mentioned it last episode. I think we might have, but like I don't know. That's the only role I remember him like being specifically like off the top of my head anyway. So that's a cool fun fact actually.
Yeah. And then yeah, Anne and Polly are jealous of Sprig, and Anne mentions like, oh, it's like all that stuff's just over the wall, and then Polly's just like, how good are you at climbing? And then they get their they Anne and Polly like thunder and lightning. they got their plan, and they
Their
start.
maniacal laugh, like that was great.
Yeah,
Like this, their expressions in that scene are so good. Like it's just such like a good like it's a good GIF moment. Like you could just, it's great. Yeah.
yeah, like just their hysterical laughter. Then Hop Up just interrupts them about crying. uh, yeah, and then yeah, and then it cuts back to Sprig at university. He's had a rough day, and he's like focused on doing this for Hop Hop, and the headmaster. Okay, yeah, this is my like maybe this is my minor nitpick with the episode. Like Sprig had a rough time, and then the headmaster's like, you know what? Let's just keep this going.
Yeah, like I think this is the one scene in the episode that felt like pretty weird to me because it's not even just that for me. It's like it also feels like the professor's kind of hiding something. Like just like the sort of expressions he has during his conversation with Sprig.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was thinking too.
Yeah, like it's like I want to chalk it up to him being nice, but it just feels like something just feels off. I guess.
Yeah, it made me think like this episode was gonna be like hinting at something bigger. Like when that line showed up, I'm like, I don't know what, but it felt like something bigger was gonna come out of that. And I guess technically it does, but like it also like doesn't. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It felt like he felt more villainous at that situation. So yeah,
Like I thought it would just be like I thought the twist would be that they needed someone for like varsity or like for their frisbee team because like everyone else sucked, and then like he needed to like admit Sprig onto the team. Like he needed Sprig to like enroll in the university to bring him on the team or something like something weird like that. But yeah, the guy like poor Sprig is just like right when the professor leaves, like Sprig's just like, yeah, screw that. I'm breaking out. Well, not even breaking out. He wants to leave, but then that's when like the campus goes into lockdown. And
yeah, it pretty much becomes a prison at that point.
yeah, it went from metaphorically to literally. Yeah, then Sprig's freaking out. Meanwhile, Hop Hop is just still reminiscing. But then he sees the university like kind of go into lockdown, and then he fears the worst and immediately like rushes out to save Sprig, but then gets stuck in between like the gates.
I don't even like Hop Hop. I feel like this is the return of Hop Hop's like season one paranoia because what the hell? Like I'm like look rewatching the scene. It's like let me just rephrase. Let me just say what like let me just like quote what he says here. Like
Yeah, they're after his beautiful pink skin.
yeah, like maybe there are frog nappers and this whole thing's been an elaborate scheme to steal Sprig's beautiful pink skin. And it's like wait, okay, hold on. Okay, now I got a whole new thought. Do you think that's like a reference to the fact that like Sprig is like a rare species of frog and amphibia or something?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that could be a reference to that?
Oh, definitely. Like
Yeah.
it's weird because it's hinted at a lot in like specifically the entire Newtopia arc, Marcy at the gates, this episode, like it's a thing that's constantly mentioned. Like,
Yeah.
the show's letting you know, like, well, that's important. Okay, like,
Yeah.
so I think by the time we get the two colors and we see Leaf, I was gonna say Pink Frog. we see Leaf. It's like, oh, the show's letting you know that, like, pay attention to that pink skin. It's gonna be important later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Hop Hop mentions like the bug burgers like holding him back. I think, yeah, that was like last week's episode where like he ate a bunch of those burgers for like the suit of armor. Yeah, then we get a moment like Sprig like picks the lock, gets out of his room, and starts to make his escape. At the same time, Polly and Anne are breaking into the university, and then they set off an alarm, which kind of inadvertently makes Sprig's challenge more difficult. You know, he runs.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, this becomes like a spy, like a thriller movie where like Sprig's just like avoiding detection.
I was I was just gonna mention, like, I just love that Anne and Polly are just fuck up as soon as they get inside the walls, like like, because it's I don't know, like, I just find that funny because, like, it's just like I always like love going back to season 3 and stuff, and it's just like it's just funny how like they have a whole episode in season 3 where they're literally robbing a museum. And like in this episode, like they mess up as soon as they get into the walls. Like and like Anne's lying about like I think I just killed somebody, and like the Beatles, like a security thing, like that was great. Like yeah.
Yeah, and then like yeah, Sprig's like hiding behind all those objects. He does like a totally non like he just does like a weird pose on the bench. Like he's like he's just posing while he's hiding, and then kind of reveals his location when he like brags about his feats. And then like they release the weevils, like some kind of bug creature, and then that's when we get the no one understands Earth joke where like Anne mentions mentions dogs, and then like Polly doesn't know what a dog is even. So I'm trying to see what happens. So like they chase Sprig first, but then I think Polly and Anne kind of inadvertently like distract them while Sprig escapes. Okay, and here's my favorite part of the episode. So it's like, you know, Sprig gets to the gates, he finds Hop Hop there. We get the whole like misunderstanding about like how like Sprig could have left any time. Okay, so this isn't the part that I was talking about. Okay. Yeah, we get the whole explanation about how like they had all the security just to keep people out. Like because apparently the city is a dangerous place. And you know, it's just kind of interesting how like we're supposed to believe like Newtopia is like, you know, Newtopia is like the capital of the world, and like Newtopia is kind of like a play on like Utopia. So it's like there's still like apparently like these like large dangers to the city, like we saw with the barbarians, but like this is like they're worried like someone's gonna like break into the campus, but it makes sense since they're like this is like a university downtown, but it has like a giant wall surrounding it. And everything's like gated off.
Yeah, God, I just remember I think I wasn't in college when this episode came out. Like before then, I was like like my brainiac mind back then was thinking, maybe there's a deeper meaning to all this. You know, maybe there's something crazy that happens in Utopia at night. And I was just like I was so dumb and innocent back then, but now that I'm in college, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like no, like like the city my college is in, like there's all this crazy stuff happening, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, I totally get why they would do this, 100%. Like yeah,
That that kind of makes me think though, because I think like I've always mentioned that Marcy's like time in Newtopia was like pampered and like pretty easy compared to like Anne, who's like almost getting killed every like 2 seconds in Amphibia. You know, like it's I don't know, like that makes me think of Newtopia in a different way. You know what I mean? Like it. I'm not thinking like there's like tons of like I don't know, like crime or whatever. But the fact that even like that's a thing they mention in the episode, it's weird because they never come. Well, well, yeah. I mean, I guess kinda you could say they come back to it, maybe, but like I don't know. It's just kind of like this detail like you don't really think about. Like I don't know. This is neat.
I mean, all this campus security was meant to keep people out, but Anne and Polly were easily able to get in.
yeah.
Yeah, but Sprig escaping was like unprecedented.
No. Like he didn't even like who's I don't like how did he even escape, dude? Like he just like I guess it's because it was made for newts. Like it's supposed to keep newts. I don't understand. Like how is it unprecedented? Because it didn't feel like it didn't look like Sprig's escape was that difficult. For being honest, right? Like didn't he just climb out his window? I don't remember how that worked. Like, he just climbed out his window and then he ran away from a couple of weevils for like a minute or something, and like that was his escape. And this guy's like unprecedented. Like the fuck?
He just unlocked the door. Like he didn't
Yeah.
like do anything like crazy. Like it wasn't like it was something. Well, okay, actually, like Break does something that takes a lot more like ingenuity, if that's the right word. Like you need to be resourceful, essentially, to like
Yeah.
to pick the lock, to know how to pick the lock too, and like what to use to do it. You know what I mean? Like all the
Yeah.
newts in Newtopia are like they wouldn't know how to do that. You know?
Yeah. That's fair.
So like, yeah.
Yeah, and then they found Polly and Anne. Yeah, and then like Sprig kind of explains that like he didn't like he couldn't handle Newtopia University, but then like Hop Hop just didn't want to lose Sprig this early, and they have their reconciliation, and we'll talk about the jokes later, but yeah, like I already got the feeling that this was kind of the like spiritual successor to Fiddle Me This, especially since like that was the episode where we actually learned about Newtopia, specifically Newtopia University for the first time. And then seeing it happen now, seeing it. Fiddle Me This was mostly a Hop Hop episode with Sprig involved, like with Sprig playing a large role in Hop Hop's decision making. Here it's like the opposite, like the other way around, where it's like it's mostly a Sprig focused episode with Hop Hop being the one he working off of Hop Hop's like ambition, but this time like Hop Hop kind of like learned his lesson, so now it's like Sprig's turn to kind of like deal with this pressure on his own. Because like this time Hop Hop wasn't pressuring him, like Sprig like volunteered for this, and then Hop Hop was just being supportive. Like so it doesn't feel like we're retreading the same story again, but it still feels like it does feel like a nice like follow up since they're both kind of dealing with like providing for the family in a way. And yeah, that's why like I kind of like liked. I'm glad we got this kind of episode where especially it's like I think because the characters are frogs, like the crew could kind of take more liberties of what kind of stories they can take with Sprig, like they can tell with Sprig. Like if these were like human characters, you wouldn't have this like you wouldn't have an arranged marriage plot line with a human kid. Like you wouldn't that would not pass censors. But they were able to do it with Sprig, and kid going to college, that'd be one of those like that you'd be able to pass off. But with Sprig, like we know he's from like a rural town, so it's kind of like he's a prodigy, but not really in the way you'd expect. And yeah, I think I talked, and then yeah, Fiddle Me This, and then also Grubhog Day, a little bit of responsibility. Yeah, so that's not as strong, but I think yeah, Fiddle Me This was like the strongest comparison I can make with this episode, since they both involve Sprig and Hop Hop, and yeah, I just really like that.
Damn, that is a really good way to look at this episode. Okay, that's that's great. That's all I gotta say.
Like, I guess it's just like another sort of point with the episode. Just I don't know. I like what this episode tried to do with both of them, but I don't know. I feel like my problem is I feel like it feels like it doesn't even feel I feel like the episode doesn't even treat it as big of a deal as it should, I guess, because like Sprig is pushing himself hard for Hop Hop, and I feel like the most we get from that is just like that funny montage, and it's like I don't know. I guess it doesn't feel as emotionally charged as I would have liked. As like say Fiddle. I know Fiddleman. I guess it's like an unfair comparison because like those are still two different episodes doing their own things, but I guess for me like. I don't know, like it's just.
Yeah, I get it though. Fiddle Me This is like I still consider Fiddle Me This is like a really very good episode. Like, and even though I'm making this like parallel, I still think Fiddle Me This was the stronger episode.
I think this episode definitely does work, but I feel like it's just. I don't know. I guess just it's not as strong as I would have liked. I guess like it's not bad, just. Like I just wish they muled over on some of these parts more. Like I don't know, because it's just like I know Sprig is pushing himself hard for Hop Hop, and like it's just entirely through a funny montage. And I guess, and then right after that, he just immediately quits. And I don't know. I guess it's like it's a nice development, but I feel like I just can't like. I just can't call this episode a banger, and I feel like that's my problem here. It's like I don't want. It's not forgettable either. It's just like you just damn it. Like it's all right, I guess. I feel like my feelings on Sprig Get School is it's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
I mean, I still love how Hop Hop just like is just clinging onto Sprig, and that joke at the end.
Yeah, like, that made me uncomfortable. It's like you belong at the bottom of the socioeconomic barrel with me. What the hell?
And then Sprig doesn't get the joke, but he just treats it as a good thing.
Yeah, like he doesn't like. Holy crap! Like that's not good, right? Like that's not good. Like I don't even know what to say. Like what is the moral at the end? Like I guess like I guess like they do end up saying it.
Yeah, they do like, say college isn't for everyone.
College is not for everyone. Like. Yeah, I guess I was kind of a sweet. I guess that's the moral. Like I don't know, because it's like, damn it. Like I feel like this moment has like a stronger resolution compared to what happened with Pop Up and Spring. Like I don't know, because it just builds off of the whole montage. Like yeah, I feel like I like the. Yeah, I feel like I like the lesson that comes from that. Like just yeah. I think that's what I really do like. I mean, I know I read about it before, but I guess that's what I like. Like the fact that Sprig has already like accomplished so much, and developed so many different talents. But that doesn't automatically mean like schools like a school regimen is just going to be for him. Like it doesn't work for him. I think that's completely fine. That's like the kind of message we definitely may be hearing nowadays. Like so. I think I really enjoyed that, but yeah, the Hop Up and Sprig Chunk, I don't know, I feel like it's like too much of a joke the whole time for me to like, you don't really take it seriously at the end. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I don't think there's like one moment where I'm taking it seriously because it's just like joke after joke after joke after joke. Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially since like Lost in Newtopia was already like the joke episode.
Yeah, it's sort of like an after the rain situation. Like, like it reminds you yeah, I already said it, but yeah, I don't know.
Save those thoughts for that episode, Nick.
Yeah, I got you.
I gotta fight one
Just
battle at a time.
yeah. I don't know. It's just, I like this episode. I just wish that like I guess it was more emotion charge or something. Like I think that's just what I'm missing here for myself.
I mean, we do see Hop Up like reminiscing over the baby photos. I know it's like played as a joke, but it's like it's a very relatable thing. Like I can.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet. It's just damn. It's just the fact that like I don't know. It's just I don't know. Something's just not fully clicking with me. I guess, but it's just
I feel like it's one of those things where like because the Amphibia always like not always, but like it uses its jokes to tell the story. You know what I mean? Like it'll give you character information on it'll give you information about like the story or set up a certain point or tell you something about the character through a joke. You know what I mean? I guess it's more maybe like the constant amount of them. If that I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at, but that's what I'm kind of seeing. Like because I feel like it's just like kind of a normal thing Amphibia does in general. Like it's very few like obviously the big action episodes aren't as jokey, but it's like the simpler chill episodes that we have now are a lot more like joke, 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 joke. But they're also there to kind of give you information. So I don't know. At least for me, it's not like that bad. I mean, yeah, like I think it worked okay. That's all I'll say. So, yeah.
yeah, like it definitely works here. I think yeah, it works. Yeah, I feel like yeah, that's a good scene of Pop. I'm just reminiscing over anything, but I guess it's just I think I guess it's the fact that like for Hop Hop like it's like Hop Hop I feel like he instantly regrets. Yeah, I think it's the fact that like Hop Hop like instantly regrets pushing Sprig it like sort of pushing Sprig into the situation. Then like for Sprig like the entire thing it's like it's always a big joke. Like the whole montage is a big joke, and it's just like
No, but he.
I guess while we do get to see how Sprig's struggling, it's like you know what I mean. It doesn't feel like that. I guess it doesn't feel like I don't. I guess yeah, it doesn't feel like too big of a deal.
No, but he does
Like
struggle, but he's still like the character. He still says he's doing it for Hop Hop, and that's kind of like what's motivating him to like to stay.
it's just yeah. Well, I guess there's that, but it's just hmm. I don't know. They just don't. It just doesn't feel like the episode sort of. Honestly, I guess they should have taken. I don't know. I can't make any suggestions at this point. I have like no clue how they fix this. Honestly, like I have no clue how I'd change this episode myself. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe just more time with this kind of stuff. Like just more. Like I don't know. I don't know. I'd have. I should have thought about this more before I even came on. Like I like like I'm like even struggling to think about like
Yeah, that's
how I even feel about the episode anymore.
yeah, that's all right. And like we can probably just talk about like the last few parts where like Anne and Polly were actually right that there was like a party going on.
Oh yeah, no, that was hilarious. Yeah, like
And then yeah, I like the episode ends off with like the frisbee scene. I know you guys already talked about with the message with like the singer literally saying college isn't for everyone. But
Everyone.
but they still end on that like they end on like the freeze frame of like the character in the air.
yeah, see, you can just tell like the crew is putting themselves into that like last part right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I just before we end it off, I just gotta say like Polly's line when they're running away, like, it's my fault for looking like such a snack. Like that cracked me up. That was great. Yeah, like and just
It really, yeah. Like it felt like a phrase that like Ann taught her or something. Like, I'm just like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
like,
It's my fault for looking like such a snag. Like, what the hell? Like, it came out of
yeah,
nowhere.
yeah, and it's like, nah, like I just did the whole like in Polly stuff is funny. Like I know I'm drifting off a little bit, but it's like even like when Anne's like calling out this Sprig, she literally takes off her hood. Like the whole point was to not be seen, and like she just yells her name, yells his name like out loud, like like it's crazy how like more skilled she gets, like I don't know. I just find it funny, like
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, instantly blows her cover.
yeah, like because it's funny because like season 2 Anne is in that weird period where like she's not like she's like not as like not annoying, but like as irresponsible as season 1, but like not as serious as season 3, where like she's not gonna get into these shenanigans as much. But like season 2 is kind of that perfect balance where Anne's like can do stupid shit, but like it still makes sense for her character. Like I don't know, it's just funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered everything in the episode. I guess Impact, any final thoughts?
I think like very funny. When I came onto this episode, I was very much like, man, I don't like Sprig Get Schooled. But one of the things that like just watching the Gazette before I was on here, or just even while I was on, was like kind of getting like a new perspective of an episode as a whole and kind of learning something new about it. And I don't know, like, I mean, Sprig Get School still isn't like that gut puncher, like S tier episode that I'm gonna rewatch over and over again, but it doesn't really have to be either. But like, I like Sprig Get Schooled. It's it's a decent episode. I like it. Not my favorite, but like I can appreciate it more now. So yeah, like this episode was fun for Sprig. I love the jokes with Anne and Polly, like, and just yeah, this was a good episode. I like it.
All right, thank you, Impact. Nick, any final thoughts on Spaghetti Schooled?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I agree with him. I agree basically, like, what Impact said here. Yeah, it's not one of my favorite episodes, but I mean, I do appreciate like a lot of things about it. Like just the overall message of Sprig. Like, God, like, yes, like, I mean, yeah, I forgot just how skilled and talented this little kid is, and just what he's gone through, and like, yeah, and the fact that that still doesn't mean that he's going to be adept at school or just a right fit for it. Like, I like that message in this episode. Like, that's what I really enjoy about it, and just yeah, lots of funny moments. I think even if I have my complaints, I feel like Hop Hop and Sprig are definitely still on point here. Like everything about their characters and everything about like their characterization in this episode just makes complete sense. Pollyann, super hilarious. Newtopia University, it's like it's awesome to get like a sort of like I don't know what they call it, like follow up, like, but I mean it works in a way. Like it's nice to sort of like be able to go back to Fiddle Me This and just think, oh, hey, look at that. Newtopia University was mentioned in this episode, and we got an episode about them going to Newtopia University. Like, I like that. So, yeah, overall, yeah, I do like this episode.
All right, thank you, Nick. And yeah, I enjoyed Sprig Get Schooled. I think, like, now that I think about it, I think I said the word think a lot of times in that sentence. This episode came out summer 2020, so I actually finished my undergrad not too long. Like, I finished university not too long before this episode aired. So, like, it was kind of nice, like, after going through the whole, like, ordeal, like, there's an episode of Amphibia. There's an episode of Amphibia where I was, like, that I kind of like related to and kind of just look back and laugh at. But yeah, those are overall I just really enjoyed this episode and just like the fiddle me this sequel. But yeah, I think that pretty much concludes this week's recording. And next week we'll be covering, I think I know what these episodes are. I just want to double. Okay, yeah, Little Frog Town and Hopping Mall.
Yeah, 2 bangers. Let's go.
Yes, Little Frog Town is.
Yeah, like, that is like one of my favorite Hop Up episodes, like hands down. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Hopping Mall,
Like,
there's not much you can. Everyone knows about Hopping Mall.
Yeah. There's some interesting things to say about it. Like like those 2 episodes are bangers. Absolute bangers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that pretty much concludes this week's recording. And say goodbye, everyone.
All right, see you guys.
Peace, everybody.
See ya.